Hello everyone, this is Pooka and welcome to another game I played on the Pokemon trading card game online. And in this game we're going to be going up against a player named Zigmiceter. We'll go with that. And I will be using an Empoleon deck. And we're going to go ahead and start off with Sock, which is a nice new tool the Empoleon deck has to perhaps deal with Thunderous EX, which is of course the bane of Piplup's existence. Because for just one water energy, a Thunderous EX can Raiden Knuckle and knock out a Piplup. So, Sock has Kick of Righteousness, which does 10 plus 40 to 18 Plasma Pokemon, which Thunderous EX happens to be. And then you can hit it for weakness, so you'll do 100 for 1. So you kind of mitigate the opening. Like if they start off with Thunderous, you can respond with Sock, and then you do 100 to an EX. So it forces them to deal with it, or at least you'll have an option for early aggression in that situation. But we're going up against a Darkrai deck. I did play a Level Ball, Dowsing Machine for a Level Ball, got a Piplup, gonna throw a Silver Bangle onto Sock, and Kick of Righteousness. Now, it'll only do 80. If that were a Team Plasma Pokemon, that would have done a lot more. But Sock is going to kick that Darkrai directly in the face for a swift 80 damage, thanks to the Silver Bangle, which of course adds 30 damage to your attacks against EX Pokemon. Before weakness and resistance, that's the important part. So we're doing 10 plus 30 times 2. Spoiler, that does 80 damage. Alright. So we're going to hit Darkrai for 80 early on. That's actually pretty big. One of the problems with Empoleon is that it is difficult to knock things out in one hit. So getting any sort of early damage onto a Darkrai EX is going to be huge. When it eventually does get powered up, we'll probably be able to do 100 damage and then use Attack Command to finish it off. Now, I see that Trubbish. I am very disappointed that I had to use my Dowsing Machine on the first turn, but I really didn't have much of a choice. I would like to save Dowsing Machine for later. Maybe I can Tool Scrapper, or use it for another catcher, or use it for something nicer than a Level Ball. But sometimes you just got a Dowsing Machine for something you really didn't want to, but that's okay. We're gonna see. Hey, look, my opponent plays Dowsing Machine as well. It's an A-Spec card. You discard 2 cards and get a Trainer card from the discard pile. Looks like he's going to go for a Pokemon Catcher to try to stall my Keldeo EX active. Might be a good move. It may kind of buy him some time. But I do play plenty of Floatstone in this deck, so it might not end up being a problem. Alrighty, we're going to start off with a Rare Candy into Empoleon, turn 2. So a pretty good start for me. And then we're going to use Propagation, bring Execute out of the discard pile, put it back into my hand, and then Diving Draw. This is an awesome combination with Empoleon. You just get to Propagation as much as you want. As long as Execute is in the discard pile, you can take it out again. The ability says once during your turn, but it resets once you put it back into the discard pile. So we're going to bring it back. Then we can Ultra Ball. And I got to decide, alright, what do I want to take with this Ultra Ball? I can take a Piplup or a Mr. Mime. And I decided to go with Mr. Mime. I plan on playing a catcher to bring out Trubbish this turn. And then we'll just try to draw Floatstone, retreat to Empoleon, and Attack Command for a perfect 70 and a knockout. So here's the Juniper. Oh, no Floatstone. Well, that's not good. Well, we just wasted a lot of resources that turn and accomplished nothing. So, not a very good turn for me. And looks like Garbodor is coming out now, which is a real bummer. My opponent will Dowsing Machine for that Juniper and draw a fresh hand of 7. So, not the ideal start for me. Missing that attack turn 2 was pretty darn big. But, it's not the end of the world. we're still set up pretty nicely. We did get that 80 damage onto Darkrai turn 1, so I'm still feeling, like we got a good chance at this game. This was late into my stream, so the program started to bug out a lot. So if the screen starts to flicker at all, I apologize, but that was just Pokemon TCG Online beginning to break down and crash, as it did eventually at the end of the night. Just kind of says, you know what, I've had enough. You can tell when it's about to crash, because the cards start to look like they're on fire. It looks like they're burning. Like, it's actually crazy to see. But it starts to look like all the cards are burning when you search through your deck, and then all of a sudden, it just closes down. It's pretty crazy, and pretty annoying too. It always happens at the worst possible time. But anyway, looks like my opponent decided to hunt for junk. Got some items back. I will just Skyla for a floatstone here. We'll actually attach to Keldeo EX. Since Empoleon only takes 1 water to attack, I like to use my extra energy attachments to power up the Keldeo EX. So then, potentially later in the game, if my opponent tries to get cute, and like limit bench size so Empoleon does less damage, we have the option to Secret Sword, since we have water energy. Alrighty, so I was not expecting Empoleon to get knocked out here. My opponent needed a Verbank City Gym, a Hypnotoxic Laser, a Dark Claw, a Dark Patch, and an Energy. And looks like my opponent got every single piece of that puzzle. So, this all of a sudden looks to be much worse. The Darkrai will come up and Night Spear for the knockout. That is splendid. And, well, now what do we do? Even if I get a full bench with Empoleon, I will not be able to knock out this Darkrai. I think I will only max out at 90 damage, so that is just not going to be an option. So now what do we do? This Darkrai is definitely going to get 2 Night Spears off, which means it'll probably take 2 knockouts. Worst case, he would knock out Keldeo with a Hypnotoxic Laser. That would not be good. But I'm just going to go ahead and attach to the Keldeo EX. I get an Empoleon, which is nice. And we'll go ahead and retreat into Sock and Kick of Righteousness for another 80 damage. So Sock is definitely earning his pay in this game. Did not expect him to attack Darkrai ever. Usually he's only good against Team Plasma Pokemon. But hey, Silver Bangle is pretty good. As we get to Kick of Righteousness again for another 80 damage. It turns a 10 damage attack into a 40 damage attack, which instead of 20 against Darkrai, now it does 80. So shout out to Silver Bangle for being pretty good. Now, obviously my opponent is, I would assume he's going to Night Spear, but it looks like this active Darkrai is definitely going down on the following turn. All it takes is potentially a Secret Sword from my Keldeo, or an attachment onto my Empoleon. Both of those will be a knockout on his Darkrai. So, should be okay to knock out this Darkrai next turn. We do see a Dark Patch onto Sableye. Kind of surprising. I thought, I really thought he would power up the next Darkrai, just have another Night Spear ready, but it looks like he's going for Junk Hunt instead. Not sure why he's doing that. But I'm just going to attach to Empoleon, and I actually probably should not have attached to Empoleon there. I might have just been better off attaching to Prinplup and using Razor Wing for 20 to finish off this active Darkrai. And here I actually went to Skyla, and I'm looking for Tool Scrapper. Where is Tool Scrapper? Where is Tool Scrapper? Oh, it's prized. Alright, well, I guess we'll take a Professor Juniper. Tool Scrapper would have been nice just to get rid of the tool on the Garbodor so that I could start to use Diving Draw. And mainly I wanted to use it to regain Mr. Mime's bench barrier that could block Darkrai's bench damage. That's pretty much what I was looking for there. But looks like no tool scrapper to work with, and it's still in my last 3 prizes. So we may be in some trouble here. Now it looks like my opponent is going to Catcher up Mr. Mime. So potentially trying to stall for a turn here. It does have a 1 retreat cost, so I'll have to pay in order to bring it to the bench. And we're just going to see a Junk Hunt getting back 2 item cards there. Looks like a Dowsing Machine. Didn't quite see the other one. But yeah, Dowsing Machine. Looks like my opponent definitely will have a Night Spear coming at me next turn, which I'll have to watch out for. So this turn, I'm going to go ahead and play an Ultra Ball, and we can get a Sock. Just get more Pokemon in play so that attack command can do enough damage to knock out the active Sableye this turn. Well, actually, just it would already knock out Sableye, but I wanted to make sure that I would have, first of all, it thins out cards in my deck. Number 2, I'll need as many Pokemon as possible to knock out Darkrai. And I went with Sock instead because Sock instead of Duskull, because Duskull has 50 HP, which can be knocked out by 2 Night Spears. But now that I see I have Max Potion in my hand, I'm just going to put Duskull down, fill my bench. I do have Chorus as well for next turn. If he decides to target down Duskull, I'll just Max Potion. I had the option there to Max Potion my Keldeo and heal it off completely, preventing like a Catcher and a Night Spear. That certainly is a possibility. But I just figured might as well keep the 2 energy on Keldeo, make him burn a Catcher and a Laser, or a Catcher and a Dark Claw, in order to knock out the Keldeo. Because you never know, I may need to attach 3 energy and Secret Sword just for that finishing oomph to take the last prize. So I'm just favoring keeping the Max Potion here. Even if he does knock out Keldeo, it's not the end of the world. And we do see a Catcher onto the Keldeo EX and a Dowsing Machine. And it looks like he's just kind of all in at this point. Plays his hand down to 0. Night Spear to knock out the active Keldeo EX. Tie the game at 2 prizes apiece. And, you know, this isn't looking too bad. I still seem to be in decent position here. I only have to knock out 1 more Darkrai and I will win the game. My abilities have been locked for almost the entire game, but for some reason it just hasn't mattered. Empoleon's actually not bad against Darkrai. The only time it's bad is when they get the Dark Claw, Laser, Verbank, and they can knock out multiple Empoleon back-to-back, and you can't get enough into play to attack. But that has not been a problem this game. I've been able to keep up a steady stream of Empoleon. The Keldeo threatening as an attacker was big as well. And without Energy Switch, Darkrai is a little bit slower in this format. It's difficult to keep up multiple Darkrai's attacking. So I'm just going to attack command with that Silver Bangle, hit for 120 damage. And now basically, I have 2 Empoleon in play with a Water Energy each on them. So if he knocks out the active one, which the Dark Claw, Night Spear, Laser, Verbank would add up to 140, that will knock out Empoleon. If he does that, I just send up the next Empoleon, and I attack command, and I win. That's pretty much all there is to it. The only way for him to win at this point would be probably to keep me asleep with Hypnotoxic Laser, since I do have Pokemon Catcher in my hand. If he can, he should probably just retreat to a non-EX and Junk Hunt, maybe. Because if he attacks, he loses the game immediately to another attack command from Empoleon. But it looks like my opponent just decided to Night Spear and says GG, which is kind of puzzling. But we're going to send up Empoleon and attack command for the win. So Empoleon, Sock, Dusknoir didn't get to see play there, but Sock and Empoleon work together to take down the mighty Darkrai. Hope you guys enjoyed this game. I am Pooka from the Top Cut. We'll have some more videos for you soon, and I'll see you guys next time.